Welcome Valpo fans to another edition of the Valpo Coaches Show. Joining me this week on the Valpo Coaches Show, men's soccer head coach Mike Avery. Mike, thanks to you for joining us today.
Thanks, Aaron.
It's been a long preseason for you guys. You finally got underway last week, but let's go back first to the preseason. Obviously, with so many guys on your team every year, always a lot of newcomers coming in, always in the double digits. How did preseason go this year, integrating all those new guys in the program with all the returnees you had back?
Yeah, it was an interesting preseason, and as you alluded to, we have a large roster because we carry a varsity team and a reserve team. So we brought in about 15 new players, so over a third of our roster is new to Valpo this year. And so we spent a lot of time just getting to know each other and trying to figure out what each person brings to the table. And I thought our older players, our returning players, did a great job at setting a tone and teaching them about the culture of our team. And I thought at the end of the day, it was a very positive camp. I thought we came away with a good understanding of who we have and what they can bring to the program.
You had your first two games last weekend, two tough battles in the Florida heat and humidity. You go 110 minutes both games, a 0-0 draw with Jacksonville, which was probably a really good result considering you played down a man the last 40 minutes or so of the game. And then on Sunday, a 1-1 draw against North Florida. What did you come away with from those two games? Either something that you weren't sure what you were going to see from your team going in, or positives to build on going forward in the early season schedule?
In all, I'd say it was a good trip. I mean, obviously you come away with two draws and you'd hope for more than that. But the way that the games played out, to be fair, we could have came away with two losses quite as easily as well. And so, we come back to the second weekend now and we're, almost starting over all over again and with the two ties. But I thought that we learned a lot of the things that we thought about our team. We spent so much time in working on defending. We graduated almost our entire back four. A goalkeeper that's playing in professional soccer now with the MLS was Zobek. And so we had some work to do defensively that we had to try and figure out. And in the two exhibition games and now two regular season games, in 4 games we've conceded 2 goals. And we've looked very organized and very sharp defensively. So I think those questions have been answered. We've also had tremendous goalkeeping from Tom Serratori, who's our returning guy that we thought maybe would get the nod. And we also have Nico Campbell waiting on the sidelines, who's a very talented U20 national team goalkeeper from Jamaica. And so we feel very good about that position as well. Even though there were questions about our defending, I think that the team has the potential to be even better defensively than we were. And I thought that got answered pretty clearly. When we go down a man against Jacksonville, you sit in a block of 8, you've got a pretty determined job to do to keep the other team out of the goal. And so it was a lot of practice. I thought we got a lot of practice right out of the gates in our defending and being organized and staying connected and not giving away a lot of space. We surrendered a lot of shots, I think, in that game, but almost all of them were outside of the penalty box and almost all of them were outside of our block of defenders. And that's why Tom had 8 saves, I think, on the night. They were all relatively routine except for 1 or 2 that he made some really special saves in. I think the challenge now for us is to take the defending foundation and work again on keeping the ball and creating chances and generating things going forward. We have almost all of our goals from last year returning, and so I know that there are guys in there that are capable of that. But we wanted to get the back set first, and I feel like we've done that.
And that's what the early season's for, isn't it? To get ready for conference play.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And leading into my next question, I guess, a relatively unique situation coming up this coming weekend for you guys. You were already scheduled to go to a tournament up in Michigan and play Oakland and Michigan State this coming weekend. This was before Oakland joined the Horizon League. And then once Oakland joined the league, the decision was made, and maybe you can explain how, that this game against Oakland would remain and it would be our league game against them. And kind of the challenges that presents and positives and negatives to playing a conference game as your 3rd game of your schedule.
Yeah, right. There are both, I think, positives and negatives in it. I think the situation was pretty clear for us. Oakland joined the league late in terms of our scheduling. Our schedule was well set. We were valuing the opportunity not only to play Oakland but also to play Michigan State, and we didn't want to pull out of that tournament completely. Our league schedule was set to send us on the road to Oakland anyways, and so we talked with Oakland and they were agreeable to saying, look, let's just play it early and we'll just play it as a league game. it is maybe too early for us. They maybe are further along. I don't know. Maybe it's too early for them. We'll find out. Ask me next week whether it was a positive or a negative, whether it was too early or not. I know that we'll be a better team in October than we are now, but I'm assuming they will be too. So, you know, it's the same for both teams, and we're going to go and see it. I think what's really exciting about it, and it adds a little bit more pressure to us, I believe will be the first Horizon League game in any sport for Oakland on their campus. And I know that they're excited to join the league as a department, and I know they'll put on a great show that night. So there's going to be a big crowd and a lot of energy, and that's a great environment for us to play in. So we're honored actually to be a part of it. But it maybe adds a little bit more to the game, even more than already playing a really good team, because Oakland's a really good team.
First 4 games of your season on the road, you kind of look at your schedule, and it's a lot of road games and not many home games this year. You know, beyond Oakland, you're playing at Michigan State as well this weekend. You've got Tulsa, Dayton, Kentucky all on the road, you know, all really quality opponents you're going to have to go and play at their place. Was it a deliberate thing when you were scheduling this year to try to really challenge yourself and take that step to prepare yourself for Horizon League play? Or was it more just kind of the way it worked out with open dates and opponents?
Yeah, I think the answer is yes. It was both, to be honest with you. I think when we sat down with our players at the end of last season, the games and the experiences that they talk most about are being on the road at number 8 Santa Barbara, or being on the road to Michigan and playing in their beautiful stadium, or go to play Michigan State. The big games really excite our team. And so we wanted to try and give them more of that. So we had scheduled already, you know, before we made some late additions to the schedule. We had already scheduled Michigan and Michigan State. We had already had a game set with Dayton. And then with all the major conference changes that were going on last year at the end of the summer, some bigger schools had openings late. And so we were able to add on some games. And even though it meant we maybe pushed a home game back to the next season, we were able to add on. So we added in a game at Kentucky, you know, their NCAA tournament team last year. We added a game at Tulsa, which is, you know, they're in the top 10 or top 15 in the country every year. It's a really challenging game for us. But look, we want to be a team that not only competes for Horizon League titles, but gets into the NCAA tournament and actually plays deep into the NCAA tournament. And so the more opportunities that we have to play those games, that's what excites our group. It excites me as a coach, it excites our players, and that's what we want. We're not afraid to play anybody, anywhere, anytime. That's always kind of been a motto with us in scheduling. And so we're gonna prove that this year. Now, it comes back to us next year. Next year, I think we have 11 or 12 home games, and so this is an odd year. But we're going to try and enjoy every minute of it and go play in some really fun places and big stadiums and big crowds against big-name teams and see what we're all about.
2 of those road contests this weekend, at Oakland on Friday, at Michigan State on Sunday, before the Crusaders have their regular season home opener next Friday, September 13th against IUPUI, right here at Brown Field. Coach Avery, thank you for joining me here on the Valpo Coaches Show. As always, you can follow the men's soccer program online on Twitter. Follow at VUMSO on Facebook, like Valpo Men's Soccer. And for all your Crusader news, follow on Twitter at Valpo Athletics, like Valpo Athletics on Facebook. Next week here on the Valpo Coaches Show, we have football head coach Dale Carlson joining us. If you have any questions for him for possible use on the show, you can tweet them at Valpo Athletics. Until next time, I'm Aaron Leavitt. Go Crusaders.